Hey, how's it going? As promised, I'm back with my video on replacing my rear rotors on my 2005 Honda CRV. Would pertain to the 2002 to the 2006 Honda CRV. So I appreciate y'all watching. If this is something that you're into, stay tuned because that's what we're going to get into. Now that that's all taken care of, let's get into it. First, you're going to need to find out what vehicle you have. Now, I know some people are already going to know this is obvious, but I don't know if you're going to go online and order it or if you're going to go to like Advanced Auto or something of that nature to order it, but you're going to need to know the year, the make, the model. So 2005 Honda CRV EX. Now make sure you remember to let them know because they'll ask if it's automatic or a manual. And no, it does not matter if it's either one of those for rotors, but I'm sure they'll ask. You get those ordered if that's what you're doing. If you're doing the rotors, usually you want to do the brake pads at the same time. However, my brake pads were okay as of right now. So the rear is going to be a little different also. They're not like the front where there's just two pads holding the rotor, where it squeezes and it slows the rotor down, slows the car down. The rear, it does have that, but on the inside of your rotor, it actually has brake shoes for your emergency brake. So I'm just giving you a heads up that you might pull the rotor off and find out that you need to change your brake shoes. Either put it on something flat, always use wheel chalk on either the front or the back. One preferably that you're not taking off one of the wheels so it holds it, but try to get somewhere flat if possible. And then you're going to go jack points on the vehicle, which if you look underneath as in the video here or whatever, there's a point where you're going to go up. That's where you're going to have it. So I moved the jack itself down just a little bit so I can raise it there and put the jack stand right there. So you're going to need the wheel choke, you're going to need a jack, and you're going to need a jack stand. Say we got it jacked up. So some of the tools that you're going to need, you're going to need a ratchet, whether it be 3/8 or half inch. Half inch probably make it a little bit easier for you for leverage. For your wheel lugs, you're going to need 19 millimeter socket. And if you have wheel lock, you're going to need to make sure before you even start, make sure you have the key for that, which should be a socket maybe in your glove box or in a door pocket or somewhere like that so you can get to and be able to use it. The 19 millimeter should also fit on that as well, the back side of that, so you can get that off. Now that we got the car raised or whatever, I've got a Milwaukee Impact, so I can do it while it's raised, just loosen them all up with that. But if not, have it partially on the ground or whatever, just kind of break them loose a little bit before you actually jack it all the way up. Jack it up, put your jack stand under there, lower it just a tiny bit so it'll sit on the jack stand, but keep your jack there. So then you finish taking off the rest of the lugs, pull off the wheel, put it off to the side. And that's kind of where we look at it to see what we have as of right then. So the reason why I have to change my rotors are there was surface rust on it that the brake pads were not getting to. So I'm guessing maybe they were warped or something. But the brake pads weren't getting the rust off like it would normally. So when I went to go get it inspected, I had to replace my rotors, which is why I'm replacing the rotors. All right, so now that you have the wheel off, it's in the back or put on the ground, off to the side, whatever. Make sure the lugs are kind of put together off to the side to remember where those are so they don't get lost and everything. All right, so now you're going to need your half-inch ratchet, or you could even use a ratchet wrench or a wrench if you wanted to, but regardless, on the back for the caliper, it's 14 millimeter. You have the caliper itself, and it attaches to a bracket, and the bracket attaches to the wheel hub that wraps around the rotor. So it depends on how you want to do it. If you're changing the pads on it, then you've got two bolts at the top for just the caliper itself. You loosen those up, you'll be able to slide it off, and there's your pads right there to be able to get to. If you're going further in like I am, there's going to be a rotor there. And so I just went ahead and loosened the two little bit lower ones closer towards the hub or axle. I loosened those up, which those are 14 millimeter as well. Loosened those up, and I took the whole bracket with caliper off and kind of just set it off to the side. Now you might need more leadway for that caliper. So if you follow your brake fluid line that's attached to that, there should be a bolt kind of holding that in. It's usually a 12 millimeter, maybe even a 10 millimeter, but you might need one of those. Now that I'm on the 10 millimeter thing, make sure you watch and pay attention to that 10 millimeter. You don't want that thing rolling away. We know how that thing likes to run away. So you're going to use that, loosen it up, gives you a little bit more play. Some people have little S hooks or whatever that you kind of put in a hole and you can hook on your spring. Do that. Or like myself, I just kind of like found a place where I can put it on where I knew it wasn't going to fall. All right, so now that's out of the way. Now we're going to end up kind of looking a little more at the information. So as I was saying, the replacement for the pads and stuff. So here's your line. If you can see my cursor, that's your brake fluid line, and that's the bolt there. You can take off. You also have these two bolts here. That's your caliper, and that's your caliper bracket, and that just goes in the middle of that, and there's your pads there on either side of your rotor. That's kind of how it's set up after you take the wheel off. You can see it. This is your rotor here. Again, this is a bigger one. This is your bracket itself. This is your rotor. And inside this section here is where your emergency brake shoes are. Again, you pull off your caliper here. You got your pads here. You can slide this one off. I think this one just slides out. And the other one actually has some right here. There's some prongs that go into that cylinder itself. So when you're replacing it, you'll end up putting the new pad back in here when you're getting ready to slide this onto all this. Let's break it down a little bit further though. So here's your piston for the caliper. You're going to need to get that pushed back. They do make a tool where it kind of just has little pads or whatever goes in there. You kind of ratchet or whatever, and it kind of pushes it apart. I don't have that. I normally just put a decent sized socket in there, and then I have a clamp that I go on the back side of the socket, the back side of the caliper, and I just tighten it, and it kind of pushes it back. Now you may need to go to the brake fluid reservoir and pop the cap on that, so it'll be easier to go back. If that's the case, go inside or whatever, pop your hood, raise your hood, prop it up, make sure you're good. If you're in the front of the vehicle looking at the engine, you got the firewall. Back right side, there's a black cap, I believe it is. It should be towards the top. You're going to loosen that. That should be your brake fluid reservoir. Just kind of like pop it open so it can breathe a little bit. Pushing it back, it might push a little bit of the fluid up. That's how you kind of resolve that. Now that you have the piston all the way back, you can put your back brake pad on there, and your front one you're not going to do yet because we're going to be taking the rotor off. So if you're right here, you got that off, you're going to be needing to take off this caliper bracket. Now when you buy your brake pads, it should come with these brackets right here, these little metal shim bracket things. They just pop in here and up here, which you can see the arrows. You'll just pop those in when you're getting ready to put everything back together. I normally, when I put this bracket back on, that's when I put those on. I'll slide my brake pad in there, then I'll slide the caliper on top, and then I'll put my bolts in. So that's pretty much how I do it. Now, this is the Honda, as you can see, document, and it calls for M77 moly coat, like this kind of paste or whatever. It says on these 2 points on the metal bracket, which shows these two here, would kind of like pinch there. And then in between these two here, just so it doesn't chatter and stuff like that while you're driving. I honestly have not used that, but maybe once in my whole life. But when you go get your pads and or rotors, when you're paying for it, let's say Advanced Auto or AutoZone or O'Reilly's, whatever, they usually have a little packet of it there, and it'll say like brake something. It's like $1 or $2, whatever. Grab 1 or 2 of those just so you can have it. I'm pretty sure that type of paste, it might not necessarily be this type of paste, actually the M77 or whatever it is, but it still does the same thing. Now that we already got this resolved, we got this bracket off. Again, we can put that pad back in after we push that piston back. I'm going to skip down here because we're going to go to the rotor. Now, this is information just to test to see if it got the thickness and stuff. I already know that I have to replace mine. So I'm not too worried about it. But if you need those, this is basically the setup of everything, how all the bolts and the piston and everything kind of work. These are the bolts for your caliper, which they attach to your wheel hub in the back. And just to let you know, they're 41 foot-pounds when you're tightening them, or 55 Newton meters. And that's for your brake caliper bracket. Now your bolts for the caliper going into the bracket, that is 16 foot-pounds or 22 Newton meters. That just gives you an idea on that if you need to go back for that information. Let me go back up here. So to get the rotor off, there are 2 screws. You'll see them. They're Phillips head screws on the flat part where the wheel would go up against. Now, this is a number 3 Phillips tip. Most screwdrivers that you're going to have is a number 2. They will probably strip those holes or those screws. Try not to use that screwdriver. See if you can get a number 3 Phillips head screwdriver. They do have a tool. I think it's like an impact screwdriver. You put it on there, you kind of turn it a little bit and you tap it with a hammer and it kind of like tries to work it out. So I just had a number 3 older screwdriver. I just kind of tapped in there to get it good and tight in there. Just applied a little bit of pressure to it and then tapped it with the hammer. And then you should be able to just wiggle back and forth the rotor, and the rotor should just pop on off. You put that off to the side. Inspect your brake shoes for your emergency brake. Make sure those are still good. It has some pad on them still. If not, then you're going to have to go and grab some of those if you hadn't already. Get those, and you're going to, that's another monstrosity with all the springs and everything. Sometimes I can do them real quick. Other times they kick my butt. May God be with you if you have to do that. It's still not a difficult job, but I will say, to help you out, take pictures of it just so you know where all the springs and all the levers and stuff go to make it easier on yourself. Now that you got that all taken care of, I just spray some brake clean or whatever in there just to get some of the brake dust out of there. And now put that brake clean to the side because you're going to need to use that. Get like an old rag or something. All right, now get your rotor. Your rotor's going to be probably in some plastic of some degree, which has oil in it and on it. So you're going to want to get all that oil off. So you can either spray it directly on the rotor or the rag. I do it both ways, but make sure you clean both sides of it, the hub part and inside. You want to make sure you get the inside too, because that's where your emergency brake is also going to be touching. You don't want to make sure you want to make sure there's no oil there. Make sure it's nice and clean. All right, when it's nice and clean, make sure you line up your screw holes to the right ones. Only one way you can put it on so you can get those screw holes on there. You'll slide those on there with each screw or whatever. Get them nice and tight. Again, I get the screwdriver, kind of apply pressure and just tap it a little bit with a hammer. That gets it good and tight. Then it's time to start putting everything back together. But while you're there, just kind of take a look, make sure there's no leak from your brake line. Make sure there's, nothing out of the ordinary. This is when you can kind of like take a peek at your struts or something, or your bushings, whatever back there if you want to. But if not, don't worry about it. Not a huge deal. But okay, so now we're going to go put it all back together. So you're going to get this bracket, you're going to put that back on, tighten those 2 bolts back onto it. Those bolts were 41 foot-pounds, it says, or 55 Newton meters. So you'll get that, get a torque wrench, torque those. If you don't have a torque wrench, I've done it in the past where I get it pretty good and tight, and I'll pop it 2 times with my palm of my hand. That usually works out pretty decent, but either or. Then, again, we talked about it already, where you'll go back and you'll put your outer brake pad on. Just slide it in there after you put your little brackets in. So put the brackets in, then put your pad in there. Put your other pad inside the caliper, and then you just slide it in. It should slide in because you already pushed the piston back. Should slide on there pretty easy. Then you're going to put these two bolts in there afterwards, which is 16 foot-pounds, 22 Newton meters. Tighten those up. Make sure everything's good and tight. And then make sure if you took this line off, you want to get that lined back up and put that bolt back in. Now that you've got that, you got it all put back together. Kind of wiggle everything to make sure everything's good. If everything's good, then we're good. Now you get the tire, put the wheel back on there, and start all the lugs first. Then you can go ahead and tighten, get them a little tight, snug, lower the car a little bit, get the jack stand out. So you have to raise it a little bit, get the jack stand out, then lower it down, and then you can tighten everything up and torque them. So on this, it shows, I think 80. Yep, 80 foot-pounds is your wheel lugs, or 108 Newton meters. I normally torque mine at 120 to 125 foot-pounds. It's just what I've always done. Go do the same exact process on the other side. When you're done, you're going to end up having to put your cat back onto your brake reservoir. There's a minimum and a max line that's on the side of that little bottle. Just make sure you're in between that. If not, you might need to add some more brake fluid. I'm pretty sure it's .3. So just get a little bit of that, pour it in there so it gets in between those two lines. Put the cap back on, close your hood, make sure you move the wheel chalk out of the way, and then kind of when you start the car, the brakes a little bit, just make sure they feel okay, that they're not like just going straight to the floor. That means you probably got a leak somewhere, which you shouldn't. You didn't take any lines off or anything. Just be good with that. Maybe take it down the street and back just to make sure everything feels okay. And then you're good. That's a done deal. You're done with that rotor and the rear brakes. So hopefully this information was useful for you. I try to be as to the point as I could. Hopefully you can give me a thumbs up or subscribe. I'd appreciate that. Leave a comment down below. Was this useful, helpful, anything? Is there anything else you're looking for on doing any of these? Doing this type of vehicle, whatever? I've done quite a bit for it. And if you're more interested in videos like this, try to check out one of these. Let me know how you think. And I appreciate it if you subscribe if you hadn't already. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.